Okay, I've done that. All right, so welcome everyone. Oh, lovely. We have 68 participants now. Wonderful. Let me quickly, we're just going to give 5 minutes, but in that 5 minutes, I want you to just put in the chat box where you're joining from, which part of the country, in Nigeria or Africa. All right, in Nigeria, which state are you joining from? And if in Africa, also let us know if you're joining in any country in the African continent. Please do drop in the chat box. Let me see your responses in the chat box. Oh, 1 minute. Oh, great. Okay. Oh, it's recording on cloud. All right. Okay. Oh, great. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining early. And we have already 115 people here. Oh, I see. Oh, someone from Cameroon. Oh, good. Tuka from Cameroon. I see Taiwo Yewande from Lagos State, Emmanuel from Lagos State, Ruth from Lagos State, Basi from Lagos, Fagbonhu from Abuja, Golden from Lagos. Welcome. I see someone from Kano, all the way from Kano. Wonderful. Oh, I see Manuel from Edo State. That's Ore from Kano. Oh, Innocent from Malawi. Oh, welcome, Innocent. Welcome. Akin, okay, I see someone from Osun State here. I see Oni from Lagos. Oh, from Adegoke from Lagos. Ramat from Lagos. Oh, I see Sam. Sam, hello. I see you, Donald. Hello. Okay, I see you all. Sam is a PhET fellow also. Thank you, Sam, for joining. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this. Okay. I see, oh, I see Ketana from Kenya. Oh, wonderful. Ilori, Cameroon. Oh, someone from the UK, United Kingdom. Great. I see someone from Libya. Wonderful. Oh, this is great. Vincent from Uganda. Vincent, welcome. Oh, I see Dr. Rose. Oh, Dr. Rose, welcome. Oh, all the PhET fellows are here. They have assembled, just like when you call Avengers, assemble. All the PhET fellows have assembled here. Nice. Thank you so much. I see Professor James from Ghana. Oh, I see Menansa. I see Theresia from Cameroon. Oh, great. Oh, I see some from Botswana, Morocco. Oh, wonderful spread across Africa. Thank you so much for joining. While we just wait, okay, this is already 5 minutes, so we can begin. Let me quickly share my screen and we do the proper introduction. Thank you so much. And if you're having any network difficulty, it's always good to, close your video, okay? Stop your video so you can connect and stream well. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. Prof, can you see is my screen up showing?
Yes,
Mrs.
yes,
Rita?
we can see
Okay,
it.
good. All right. Okay, good. Okay, don't worry. All your questions will be answered during the question and answer session. So please just relax. All right. Wonderful one. We have over 156 participants now joining on this call. Wonderful. Thank you so much for making our time early to join the meeting. So you are welcome again to Introduction to STEM and PhET Interactive Simulation also. And there's also an introduction to AI in this session. So I will quickly, I hope there's nothing blocking the screen. Is there anything blocking the screen? I hope nothing. 1 minute.
Your screen is fine.
My screen is fine. Okay.
Yes, your screen is okay.
Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay. So I welcome you once again, and to do proper introduction, this workshop is being organized by a group of people from the PhET team. And on this workshop, working with you on this workshop will be Dr. Rebecca Vieira. She's the Director of Global Initiative from PhET, Colorado Boulder. Don't worry, Boulder, don't worry. Very soon you will know the full meaning of PhET, and you will know more about University of Colorado Boulder. Please, can you not annotate on the screen? Please, if you're writing on the screen, please kindly stop. Okay. So Dr. Rebecca is going to join us pretty soon. She has a presentation, so you're going to know a bit more about our Director of Global Initiatives at PhET. And also joining us, facilitating this workshop, is Professor Olainka, who is the former dean, Faculty of Science in Edo State University. Is also a PhET fellow. And also joining us in this workshop is Mrs. Rita Oladiran. She's a PhET fellow and she's the founder of BISTEM 2024 EdTech Foundation. And we also have our able Dr. Oluwakemi. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for any wrong pronunciation. Okay, please. Oluriniola.
Yes.
Oluriniola. You know, we are one Nigeria. Oluriniola. Okay, she's a lecturer at Olabisi Onabanjo University and also a PhET fellow in Nigeria. Bright, please stop writing on the screen. Stop annotating on the screen, Bright. Okay, thank you so much. And you have my able self. I am Mrs. Blessing Sheun Chukwuka, a PhET fellow and the founder of DTW Tutorials. And as I was mentioning, I know I said something like PhET fellows assemble. We have PhET fellows in Africa, all right? And what they do is they promote the use of PhET in the countries that they are positioned in. Like, for example, I have Vincent here from Botswana. I have Sam Dona. Please, Adeboyega, please, can you stop writing on the screen? Please help me. Stop. You can play around with the features maybe later. All right, maybe at the end of the meeting, you can stay to play around with the features of Zoom. But please, right now, stop annotating on the screen. Okay, so we have a lot of PhET fellows. We have Dr. Rose from Kenya. Okay, she has joined us here. These are PhET fellows across Africa promoting the usage of PhET simulations for STEM teaching. So in like few minutes, I will try to call some of them to introduce themselves and let us know which part of the continent of Africa they are from. Okay, so quickly, I will do some brief introductions of our facilitator. Okay, and you know, for a prof, you might be wondering, this particular profile is much. You can't squeeze. In fact, this I've squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. I say, no, I can't squeeze further. Okay, so for Professor Olainka is a distinguished academic in computational and applied physics. So anything physics, my physics teachers, just be rest assured that you have enough support. You don't need to be scared. You have an expert in the field that would relate how you can use PhET simulation to teach physics in your class. Okay, and is recognized for his contributions to education, research, and community service. With a PhD in physics from the University of Benin, specializes in engineering management, condensed matter physics, and computer science. As a professor and former dean of the Faculty of Science at Edo State University, he leads impactful research initiatives through the Center for Computational Science. His global engagement includes roles as a lab exchange ambassador, that's from Harvard University, also as a PhET fellow at the University of Colorado Boulder, and beyond academia, he has designed cost-effective science lab kits for underprivileged communities and led workshops on innovative pedagogy. So be rest assured that for your physics teaching, professor is going to take you through innovative pedagogies that you can use in your classroom. Okay, so Professor Olayinka's international research collaboration, extensive publication, and numerous accolades underscore his commitment to advancing knowledge, bridging educational gap, and leaving an inspiring legacy for future scholars like we, STEM educators, and even students. So join me in welcoming Professor Olayinka to this workshop. Can I see the claps? Are you excited? Let me see your reactions. Let me see the reactions.
Thank you for
okay,
having me.
let me see that. Let me see the reactions, your emojis coming up. Okay, so thank you so much, Prof, for taking out time out of your busy schedule. Okay, because I know a prof, almost all matters of academic on your department are on your table. Now, I want to introduce you to a wonderful, beautiful woman, Mrs. Rita Ifoma Oladiran. Okay, she is a STEM education specialist and digital teaching and learning expert. She is an educational development professional with over 8 years of experience enhancing student learning and academic achievement. She is the founder of BySTEM 24, a nonprofit edtech organization committed to promoting innovative education in STEM and improving learning outcomes through applying digital pedagogies within the learning space towards building competent and digitally confident future graduates. So she designs pedagogies, designs curriculum, okay, digital curriculum that can sustain students to learn online. All right, so please do welcome with me Mrs. Rita Oladiran. Okay, can I see your claps? Can I see your emojis? Can we see your emojis? Oh, I see a raise hand. Okay, so let's see your emojis. Thank you so much. Are you raising your hands, Mrs. Rita? Do you want to speak?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to clap.
Oh, you're trying to clap. No problem. Yes, we clap for ourselves first before others. We must learn how to clap for ourselves first before others join. Thank you so much. All right. And also add to, the accolades. Thank you. So we have also Dr. Oluwakemi Nola, okay, Oluri Nola, okay, all right, she is a university lecturer at Olabisi Onabanjo University, an educational technology researcher and consultant with a special interest in the application of modern science and technology in the field of education. Dr. Oluwakemi has extensive experience in digital pedagogies, a leader in global education, a teacher trainer, and her ability to help students authentically connect and collaborate to solve real problems in local, global, and digital communities is what sets her apart from other educators. She has earned her recognition as a Microsoft Innovative Educator Fellow, Microsoft Global Learning Mentor, and a Digit Institute Global Impactor. Dr. Oluwakemi is a leading consultant at Equitech education technology and edtech consultancy. And she is a global training partner which provides training support and consultancy on Microsoft tools for education and partners with UNESCO to scale digital teacher certification course in Africa. And she is also an AI expert, which should be taking us through AI pedagogies ethics in using AI in our classes, and introducing also how we can infuse AI into STEM teaching, STEM education. So please join me and clap to welcome Dr. Oluwakemi. Please, can I see your emoji? Let's clap. Please, these people have given out their time. Okay, this is a free workshop. And for this kind of workshop, you don't want to know how much if they do this outside, maybe through the university or for an organization, how much the charge would be. So they have given out their time to stay on this workshop for the next 3 weeks. She's going to be speaking. Dr. Olokemi is going to be speaking. Mrs. Rita is going to be speaking. Professor is going to be speaking. And they're all doing this for free. So please let us give our time. Let's clap for our facilitators of this workshop. Thank you so much for this sacrifice, to impact Nigeria and also our continent, Africa. Thank you so much. All right. So I will quickly introduce myself, DTW Foundation, okay? And quickly, I'll just introduce DTW. This workshop is hosted by DTW Foundation, all right? And definitely in partnership with the foundation of our professor, the foundation of Mrs. Rita, and also the foundation of Dr. Oluwakemi. So DTW Foundation, the creators of DTW Tutorials, an educational channel on YouTube. You can check that out on YouTube, DTW Tutorials. We've been here supporting students from 2017, 8 years now. Okay, students preparing for the WATS, JAM, post-UME, and giving them the CBT app to practice, the JAM CBT app, the WAEC CBT app, the junior BEC, and also the Common Entrance app to practice. And I see that when connecting with these students, I see that there's a gap. So they come to watch videos to enlighten themselves, to know more about the subject. Why? Because they didn't understand it in class. So I said, okay, why not take some trainings to the classroom to also help the teachers, help students love science more, love physics, love chemistry, love mathematics. And that's where this particular project was born, was bettered, to start training teachers on the use of tools, digital tools that will help students get engaged, help students get excited on learning STEM subjects, not make them run away from, make STEM subjects so abstract that they run away from it. So that's why DTW Foundation is here to train teachers, okay? And okay, let me quickly just do a brief read. Okay, I think I've read through this already. I've already spoken about, okay, the founder, Blessing Sheonchukwuka, Chief Content Creator at DTW Tutorials. Okay, we have over 4 million views, over 63,000 subscribers. We help students preparing for maths, physics in their various West African examination, and also, the JAM. And okay, PhET Fellow, from 2022 till date, we have trained over 1,500 teachers in using PhET simulation, and we are getting there because we are going through the stats today of our participants, and we see that the people that registered for this year's workshop, 66% have not heard about PhET. So I'm excited that this is the first time you're hearing about PhET, and I know you'll be excited and you would use this tool in your classroom. Okay, so additionally, she holds a postgraduate diploma in guidance and counseling from the University of Lagos, okay, and, enabling her to blend her technical knowledge, educational skills, and counseling expertise to inspire and support students effectively. So welcome once again. Thank you so much for making our time, and I promise you, you won't regret this time spent on this workshop. Okay, so quickly, please, Ayodele, please, can we stop annotating? Please stop annotating. It's
yes, we have Rebecca on the call.
Oh, okay, Rebecca is here.
We have Rebecca on the call now, yeah.
Okay, good. I would soon be summarizing and then give time to her now. Okay, thank you. Welcome, Rebecca. Very soon I will introduce each speaker as is their time to facilitate. Okay, so let me quickly go through the workshop objectives and expectation. So this is a certified workshop by the University of Colorado Boulder in the US. Okay, and we are expected to do 4 courses. All right, the first one is Introduction to PhET Simulations for STEM Education, all right? And the objective there is to effectively assess relevant PhET simulation, just know about PhET. Fine, review a simulation, simulations teacher tips, know how to assess PhET sims. And you might be wondering, is this PhET and PhET I'm talking about, is there a money attached to it? Because I know that's what almost will be in like 50%. Are we going to pay? No. PhET simulation is absolutely free on the web to download to use in your class. It is only when you want to use it on your mobile phone, you just pay a $1 access fee. Even $1 is quite free. Okay, $1 is like 1,500 naira in Nigeria right now, or 1.6. Okay, but it is free on the web to download and use without the internet. So it is absolutely free. So you are going to be receiving 4 emails. But first, we are going to be sending the emails, the course to Coursera. Now, what is Coursera? Coursera is an online platform. Please, if you've heard of Coursera, let me see your thumbs up. Let me see your thumbs up. Anyone here of Coursera? Anyone who has heard of Coursera or used Coursera or done a course on Coursera? Can I see your thumbs up in the chat box? Can I see your thumbs up in the chat box? Okay, let me see. Bring it up, bring it, okay? All right, okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Okay, good. So Coursera is like a learning platform, all right, where you can learn at your pace. So this course will be open for a particular duration of time for you to complete the course. So you can now take your time to go through, read through. If there are videos, you watch those videos. There are questions, you do those questions. There are assessments for you to do. You do it, you upload on the Coursera platform. So the Coursera platform is a learning management system, is an LMS. All right, just like also another example is like Udemy. But here we're using Coursera because immediately after you finish, your certificate will be sent to you, already signed by the University of Colorado Boulder, US. Okay, so for the first week, we are going to be sending Introduction to PhET Simulations to your email. So please, if you're on this call and you have not registered, maybe you just joined the group and you have not registered on the Google form, please kindly make sure you register, because it's only those that are registered on the Google form that will be sent the link to join Coursera. To join Coursera, it costs $67. But the University of Colorado Boulder is taking this expense and has made it free for Africans. If you're joining from the US, there's a charge. If you are joining without this link, there is a charge of $69. So you can calculate how much $69 is in Nigeria for this certificate, that it is free. So please follow this instruction. You would receive the first course, which will be called Join Nigeria PhET Virtual Workshop Introduction to PhET Simulation. When you get that mail, enter it, and don't worry, I'm going to send a document where you would read step by step how to access the Coursera course. You will sign in with your email. If you don't have a Coursera account, you will create one. I will send a document that you would read to follow step by step on how to enter into your Coursera dashboard and begin your course, your first course, Introduction to PhET Simulation. Okay? And the next week, you're going to be sent whole class with PhET for STEM education. Then when you are done with that, then you'll be sent activity design with PhET simulation, then finally implementation of PhET activities. Don't worry, each of these, a synchronous session will be done to explain this. So it will be easy for you to carry out, go through the LMS on the Coursera platform. And don't worry, in the next class and on the group will be open at a particular time frame on the WhatsApp group, and you can ask your questions. We will be there to support you. The PhET team will be there to support you in all your inquiries. So don't be alarmed. Don't be overwhelmed. All right. So quickly, on the Coursera dashboard, this is what you would see. This is how it looks like when you sign into Coursera. This is how it looks like. This is just to show you. I'm also going to send you that the document, the link to the document. Okay, I'm taking much time, so in a few minutes I should round up now. So the objectives, all right, and please, I want to emphasize that you can only join this from the link sent to you in your email. If you go to Coursera directly, you will be asked to pay. I want to emphasize this. You will be asked to pay. You need to join it through this link sent to your email. It's very important so you get your certificate. Because when you don't join it through this link, what happens is that you would be charged. It will be asking you for your credit card. Do you get that? And that will cause another technical issue. We have to start going to delete you in our back end, but please just follow this instruction by joining the course from the email sent to you in your mailbox. Thank you so much. Okay, at the end of this section, the objectives to understand STEM, AI, and its relevance, appreciate the importance of edtech in our classroom for 21st century education, locate and interact PhET simulation. Okay, Rebecca is going to come in very soon there, Dr. Rebecca, and implement a PhET simulation with your students, find help support for using PhET simulation. Okay, why do we need, definitely, why do we need STEM in Africa? We need it because of what? For our, okay? Because of what? 75% of the world's population is in Africa, 17% is in Africa. And we need STEM knowledge to drive economic performance. We need it to foster the growth of our economies in Africa. We can't keep on importing. We have to start producing. And the only way to do this is if we encourage learners to learn more of STEM, to do more of STEM, to be engaged, to be excited about STEM. Okay, so we can boost our knowledge and definitely drive innovation, which would definitely help our economic performance. Okay, so definitely, why do we need to teach and learn with technology? If we see these two pictures, we see that this is the old way to communicate, the Rhodes method. And here we see students learning digitally. It is more interactive. It is more real. It is not too abstract. It is not too repetitive. Students can, have their own agency, going through things together, collaborate, learn together. Ask questions, be inquisitive, inquire about things when we use technology to teach. And definitely we have the Gen Zs now, they are all technology driven. So we need to start using digital tools. We have to stop using, not that we'll stop using marker board and all, but we have to start introducing digital tools to make our classes interesting, to make students interested in STEM education. So quickly, I would let you know what PhET is. PhET is what? What's the full meaning of PhET? PhET is Physics Education Technology. And how did PhET start? PhET started, okay, when Carl Weiman won a Nobel Prize in physics in the year 2001. Okay, so when he won the Nobel Prize, he used that money to start up PhET. It started as just 1-2 simulations, and before you know what's happening, everyone is asking, can you do this? Can you do more for chemistry? Because it all started with just physics alone, because he was a physics professor, okay? And he said, and other few said, can we start having for biology? Can we start having for chemistry, maths? Because it's gamified, it's engaging, and it's interactive. So this PhET was founded by Carl Weiman in the year 2002. And the meaning of PhET is Physics Education Technology. I hope now we get the meaning of PhET. All right, so definitely the goals of PhET is to make STEM learning more engaging, accessible, relevant, effective, and personalized. Okay, so PhET interactive simulation makes learning STEM more like doing STEM. So you have simulations that replicate something in a physical laboratory, and students can play with that simulation, burn bulbs, pour acid, and they are not scared that it's a physical thing in the lab. Okay, and so you do all this before you now take them to the lab to experiment. So this helps them know and understand whichever subject that you're trying to achieve, whichever goal you're trying to achieve in a particular subject you want to teach or topic you want to teach. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to leave the floor for Dr. Rebecca Vieira. Are you there? Can we see you? Can you unmute, Dr. Rebecca? Is she there? Can you hear me? Am I still here?
Rebecca, you are muted.
Mrs. Reed?
Rebecca, you are
Yeah,
muted.
I can hear you, Blessing. We're
Okay,
just
you can
waiting.
hear me. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
You're
Dr.
very-
Rebecca, are you there?
You are still muted.
Okay, your
Okay,
microphone.
Blessing, you need to unmute. I see.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I
thank
muted
you.
everyone.
All
Okay.
right. Okay,
All right.
Blessing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to introduce Dr. Rebecca Vieira. She's going to take us through the PhET app tour, introduce us to a new concept if she can. Okay, and that's it. She'll introduce herself and all. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for taking our time. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen now so you can take over. You're muted. Oh, I have to. Oh, hold on. Let me change that setting now. Let me change the
Okay,
setting.
perfect. Thank
But
you.
it's
Sorry,
okay. It's okay.
I muted myself again to make sure there was no background noise. But all right. Well, thank you so much, Blessing, and it's so wonderful to see everybody here and to have the support of the PhET Fellows. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I will show you what PhET simulations are, because I understand that they are new to many, many of you. All right. So just give me a thumbs up. Do people see my screen? Just the Google?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So the absolute easiest way to get to these free simulations is to type PhET into your browser. PhET, which we pronounce as PhET, and to go to the first link. So this, as Blessing said, it's a project at the University of Colorado Boulder, which is in the middle of the United States. And there's many ways to get to the simulations. And if you're on a phone, you should be able to do this no problem as well. You can click on Explore Our Sims, or you can go to All Sims Here, whatever way is fine. And we have lots of simulations. But as I think Blessing has probably mentioned, they are focused on science and mathematics. We have a lot of simulations for the physical sciences, like for physics and for chemistry, and also for mathematics. We have some for the life sciences, and the ones we have, I think, are powerful. But one thing I want you to keep in mind as we look at these together is there's lots of opportunities for learning. And the other thing, too, is that to keep in mind is that PhET really believes that there's many ways that people can learn, and some ways are better than others. Some people need multiple ways of learning. These simulations are specifically designed to help students who have learned, who struggle with particular concepts. We don't believe that everything should be taught on the computer, but we do believe that these concepts are very helpful to learn with the simulation. So let me show you one of my favorite simulations, and one that I think is probably going to be relevant to many of you. I'm going to take us into the circuit construction kit, because I know many of you probably teach about electricity. And when you go into the simulation, you just have to click on the play button, and that takes you into the simulation. If I wanted to share this with you, which I'll actually do right now, or if I wanted to share it with students, all I have to do is to copy that URL, or you could give it to students as a QR code, but I'm going to type this in the chat. And you can also go to this link if you didn't follow the way that I went through the web. And it does not require students to sign up to use this. it doesn't even require teachers to sign up just to use the simulations. But there is a teacher sign up for additional resources, which I'll share with you, that I strongly, strongly encourage you to actually do. So this here, there's different screens that have different levels of complexity. I'll make it, see if I can make hopefully you're able to see my screen nice and clearly. So this is a simulation where I can drag and drop different components, and I can, in this case, make a circuit. And the first thing I always like to ask people to do is just to make a light bulb light up. So if you have this as a practical in your class, now students can play, and if they have phones, they can also download it or, use it on the web as well, and they can play and engage with a lot of different things. So the next thing I might ask them is, okay, if you are successful making a light bulb, what else can we do? Does anybody have ideas about what other kinds of questions we might ask students to do with a circuit? If you have ideas, you can type them in the chat. What else would you have? What other kinds of questions might you ask students if you've got all the wires and all the light bulbs and all the batteries in the world? Okay, we could add an ammeter. So maybe one of the questions is, like, how much electricity is actually flowing through that? And we can see here, it's 0.9 amps. I will do an example for mathematics after this. So there's a question here about what would a switch do? So I can take this out and I can put in a switch. I'm gonna actually turn this around a little bit, and I'm gonna just make it a tiny circuit. And so I can turn it on, I can turn it off. What happens if we increase the voltage? So there's different ways we could increase the voltage. One way that we could increase that voltage is actually putting two batteries together, lining them up appropriately. So here I assume I'm doubling the voltage. And we can see that that light bulb is actually, number one, it's brighter. And if I take my ammeter or my current measurer over it, you can see that it used to be 0.9 amps, now it's 1.8. So you can get actually quite a bit more complex. There's also fuses and things like that. There's a proper, let's say there's a voltmeter that you can use. And what I'm showing you is just the introduction. So a lot of simulations actually have a additional screens that have more complexity. So we have current, we can also change the resistance and wires and things like that. So that's one example of a simulation. Let me show you one that's more about mathematics though. And Blessing, if you see anybody ask any questions in the chat, just let me know. I can't see everything all at once. So
okay, no problem, Rebecca. No problem.
Yes. Great. And I appreciate all the questions I'm seeing in the chat about, what happens to the resistors? Could you change the light bulb's color? That's a great question. Why do we have to light up light bulbs in that particular way? Let's take a look at a math example. There's a few different ones. So all of these span from kindergarten up through, in some cases, introductory university. This one is one of my favorites, and I'm going to just take us to the second one called Center and Variability, and I'll drop it in the chat too in case everybody wants to see it. And so this is a simulation where we're trying to teach children about what is a median, what is a mean. So let's see. So I'm going to make this person kick the ball. Lots of times. And we start to find that there's maybe not necessarily a pattern of data, but we do see that most people are able to kick somewhere between 2 and 6 meters. There's a few people who can kick out to 14. And so one of the questions we might ask our students on this simulation is, what is the mean? What is the median? Now, students may or may not know what those things are. I know a little bit about math, so I'm going to say, yeah, the median is like the middle number. It's like if I were to count from a faraway ball and one of the balls that was nearby, and I was to go in towards the center, where would that be? And so I'm guessing it's around, it might actually be 5, probably guessing. If I look at the mean, I'm going to think maybe it's 4. A lot of the balls, in fact, most of them are between 2, on 2 and 3. So I can actually check now in a couple of different ways. We have this histogram. We can put, here we go. That's where it is. And you can see the mean is represented kind of like a balance beam in some sense. And the median the middle number, oh, wow, I was like quite a bit off. So these are actually not in the correct spots that I put my predictions. And I can check here as well and see how it matches up with the above. So this helps students to learn about that. We can also look at things like box and whisker plots, if that's something that you do. And take a look at things like interquartile range. So this is really maybe more statistics than traditional mathematics, but something I find is really, really powerful. Let me just show you a biology one too, because I always know people have questions about the biology. You can search over here.
And Rebecca, someone asked for chemistry. Don't forget.
Oh, okay. I'll show one of each. Okay, I'll do that. So biology, you can see we only have 7 simulations. We're in the physics department, and biology is the most different of all the sciences. So we don't have as much expertise, but I love, love, love this simulation. I'm going to take us straight into the lab. So this is an example where you have an ecosystem and you have one white bunny, and I'm going to add another bunny of the opposite gender so that they're going to be able to have children together. And we can see that time is passing by. And after one generation, now they have babies. Now I can do some different things like enter in maybe a recessive trait. This recessive trait allows us to start to have like some genetic factors for brown fur, but we might need to wait a little bit of time to see what happens. So these bunnies are now going to have babies, and suddenly we see that there are a few brown bunnies. And what's neat is I can pause this and I can look at changes in the population. I can also look at proportions, and I can look at pedigree. So this is where you start to get into the genotype and the phenotype. And so you can see when the mutation was added, suddenly we had, in this case, a capital letter F for the white fur and lowercase f for the brown fur. And when these two had a baby, they happened to have one that had 2 recessive genes, and that's why it is brown. So you can do things like this. You can also introduce wolves and take a look at how predator and prey relationships affect. You can do things like make the food hard to eat and take a look at the effect of bunnies having long teeth or short teeth. Take a look at the effect of different kinds of ears. Also make it so there's limited food, and look at how these populations change. So unfortunately, all of my bunnies have just died. Let's look at a chemistry one. So for chemistry, let's see. There's some really good visualizations. One of my favorites, though, is build an atom, because it's one of the most foundational. And if we click on this, students will automatically learn without you even lecturing, like, where does a proton have to sit? Because if I try putting a proton here, it doesn't go in until I'm close to the center. So students learn automatically. Protons have to go towards the center. What about neutrons? Neutrons also have to go towards the center, and electrons, they rest, in some sense, outside of the nucleus. And as we're doing this, pay attention up here to the element, and we can also look at the net charge. Does adding a neutron make a difference to the net charge? Nope, but it does affect the mass number. What if I add an electron? Does it affect the net charge? Yes, it does. But does it affect the mass? No, not really. How about protons? So students can do this. There's learning about different symbols, and then also some games in there. So there's lots of different examples, and I would challenge all of you to go exploring because there's a lot to play with here. In terms of agricultural science, so agricultural science, kind of like earth and space science, it's often viewed as being very interdisciplinary. And so I think it's, we don't have a category that is explicitly agricultural science, but there may be things that you might be able to take a look at, like things like energy or the effects of climate change. There's some things with Beer's Law Lab. I know in agricultural science, sometimes you look at how does light transfer through a chemical, for example, in order to determine if an enzyme is present. So let's see here. Let's see. Cheryl, what are you confused about? Feel free to pop a note in the chat and I will see if I can help you out. So these all merit your own explorations, I would say. There's also some things about quantum physics. There's things about diffusion, all different kinds of things. So in order to get to this site, as I was showing, the first thing that I recommend you do is just to type PhET, and that will take you to all of the sites that you would want. The link here is in the chat, and I'm just pasting right now. But you can always just Google PhET, go into the simulations. So I'm not going to be able to show you all of the simulations, but what you can do is you can go to this page and you can search, what do they have for physics? What do they have for mathematics? What do they have for chemistry? So we have over, right now, 120 simulations that are very good for using on your phone and all of that. Take your time and explore. And just to be clear, everything here is only natural sciences, so we don't include, unfortunately, the social sciences. That's just not our area of expertise. And so the focus here is really the natural sciences. All right, let's see. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is that there are lots of resources for teachers on how to use these. So let me go into a different mathematics one, maybe, just to give you an example. I'm going to find one that maybe might be more, let's see here. I want to find one about graphing, because I always know students struggle so much with making graphs. So I'm just exploring here real quick. See, there's one right there, but that's not the one I actually want. I think I want linear graphs. Give me one moment. Graphing lines. All right, so this simulation is all about how does an equation of a line change as the line changes, right? You can find out what are the points along that line. You can find out the slope. You can take a look at all these different things and see how changes in the slope actually affect that line. So when we're back at the teacher resources, not just the simulation itself, there are a whole bunch of different tabs down here below. Teaching resources, teacher tips, activities, translations as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you that if you wanted to see these resources, because we don't want students going to things like the answer keys, we don't want them necessarily seeing what the teacher guides are seeing, or we don't want them to necessarily watch videos that are intended for the teacher, because we want students to discover these things. We don't want them to just watch a video necessarily. If you want to join, you have to get a free PhET teacher account, and you would create an account by going to this register page. I'm going to put this in the chat right now for you. And if you don't get this right now, it's okay, because the course will teach you how to do it. I'm going to pop it in the chat. Yes. So I would suggest you take some time to do that. I'm going to just log in with my own course. So, sorry, log in with my own account. So I'll sign in and I will put in my teacher account information. And when I do that, suddenly you'll see it's not blocked. And so when you go to the simulation, if you're not really sure, like, what is it about? How do I use it? This gives you information about what each of the buttons does. It also describes like the game, what do students have difficulty with? And then there's some information about customization, which I'm not going to get into right now. And some of the simulations also have a video. This one's a 6-minute video that actually explains how we recommend that you use the simulation. So there's that. And then there's also activities. So we have a database with almost 3,000 activities, or almost 4,000 activities. And these are all activities that have been created by teachers all around the world. So if you were interested in like having an activity sheet, perhaps one that you might print out or might give to students digitally with some instructions. These are all activities. Like this one here describes, what do teachers need to know, or what do students need to know? And then what kind of questions will you ask the students? Like, find the slopes of the 2 lines below, what's different, what's similar, and then what kinds of discussion questions might you have? But also, I believe there is a student worksheet. So, oh, please don't annotate on the screen. I'm going to stop my share and reshare my screen so I can get rid of the annotations. But if you could, please don't annotate because then it marks all over it. Give me one moment here. Okay. So this is a student worksheet that if you have like a printer, you could print out for students and they could write this down. But I've also known people to create worksheets, you know, digitally, or turning it into like something like a Google form where they can put their answers in there. So all of these activities, like this one, you can see it's Word document, and these are PDFs. You can download these and then you can change them. There's no cost to use them. And if you want to change it so it's more appropriate for your students, that's totally fine. The other thing, and I think the final thing I want to share, because my time is about up, I believe, and I know Blessing has other things to talk about, but at the bottom of all of the PhET pages, there is something called offline access. So all PhET simulations can be downloaded and they are free to download. The one thing that is not free is downloading as a mobile app. And the reason why that's not free is because we are a nonprofit and we need to have some money to sustain our work. So that's an option, but there's actually two other options to download that are free. One of them is if you just want to download one simulation, you can click this purple button and you saw it. This is the downloaded version. I don't have to be on the internet, but I do have to have a mobile device or a computer or a tablet that has like Chrome or some other browser. It does not need to be connected to the internet though. So I can open that even if I am, you know, totally disconnected. And these are small enough. You can even send these files as a WhatsApp so that when your student gets it when they're connected, they can actually have it on their phone when they're not connected. So that's one way. The other way to get all of the apps downloaded at once, if you have a computer, if you have a Windows or a Mac computer, you can download, and when you click this button, it downloads all of the simulations. So like I've mentioned, you can download them all onto a computer. You can download them individually onto any device. The only one that does have a cost is the mobile app. And that, because that does require, like, it's just more convenient, but technically you can download individual simulations anyway. Blessing, I think I've covered the most of it. Do you have a recommendation for anything else I should point out?
You want to quickly talk about the studio briefly?
Yes, I can mention it. So there is one thing that you all may start seeing, but I already told Blessing there's a caveat. So, okay, so you can get to the simulations by browsing, clicking on browse and then just going through the simulations by content area. You can also filter with all the filters down the left, and you'll see there's one other tab, customize, and you'll see there's also another, something similar here. It's got these little 3 things on it. So there's something called PhET Studio, but I will say it's currently available for the rest of this month. It will not be available to you after September 1st. So like I said, PhET is nonprofit, but we're trying to sustain our work because I think, as you might know, the United States is severely cutting back on the amount of funding that they provide for international work and for education, even in the United States. And so we are going to be selling, we have started selling in the United States, the customizability of simulations. So everybody will always be able to use these simulations for free. That's never a problem. But if a teacher wanted to customize them a little bit, there's a tool called PhET Studio. The problem is right now it's available for everyone around the world, but starting on September 1st, it will require a license, which requires a payment. So only people who, because we're trying to work out the international taxes, only people in the United States will be able to make that purchase. If you're outside of the United States, the only way people could use it in the near future is with some kind of a signed agreement and wire transfer, but that we wouldn't do for an individual. Let me just give you an example of what I mean this is. So let's say that I wanted to show students basically a simulation, but I didn't want the students to have to like prepare it, or I didn't want to have to prepare it all the time. Like maybe if I was using the electric circuits and I wanted to make a circuit and save the circuit, that is what you would use PhET Studio for. In this case, I want to create a demonstration where I ask students what will sink and what will float. So perhaps I want to compare 2 objects, not one. I want to take them out because I don't want them to already be in the water. And maybe I want both of the objects to be ice, but I want one to be much bigger than the other. So I'm going to decrease the mass and the volume on this one. Maybe I don't want students to see that it's equal density. So, and also maybe I don't want my students to be able to go into these other things because I don't want them to be getting distracted. All right, please, if you would kindly not annotate, that would be great. Unfortunately, all of us see the annotations when that happens. So with PhET Studio, I set it up as I wanted, but I also, let's say, want to get rid of the tab down here for mystery and compare. So now students can't go into more complicated parts of the simulation. Let's also say maybe I wanted this to be in, let's say, French. I can click on here, and now it's also in French. So if I wanted to set this up and save it, I could hit save as, and we'll call this the ICE test. And once I've done that, it creates a link that when I share that with somebody, or if I give it to students and have them put it in, it will open up just exactly as I have it prepared for them with the restrictions that they can't go into the other screens. And now I have my two objects and I can ask them that question. What do you think will happen to a big block of ice compared to a small block of ice? Is it going to sink? Is it going to float? Is it going to sink more? Actually, would people like to guess? Or maybe you know the answer. If you'd like to write in the chat, do you think that block B, the small block, will it sink? Will it float? And if it does float, will it float just like below the water? Will it be just like block A? Or will it maybe be higher in the water, for example? What do you think?
Higher in the water.
Take a look and feel free to write in the chat. What do you think will happen to block B? Any ideas? Feel free to type out your answer. Because block B does weigh less. Does weigh less. Okay, I'm hearing one person says it will sink. Somebody says block B will float higher. Float higher. Let's take a look. Ready? Drop it in. And look at that. It actually, both of them float and they float to the same height, which is a surprise to most of us. So that's the power of simulations. And now the question is, why does that happen? And that's where an exploration into the buoyancy simulation will actually be very helpful.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Blessing. Is there anything else you'd like me to share?
I think that's
Oh, no, that's good. Thank you so much for taking us through the PhET Studio. I appreciate this. And as you heard Rebecca said, so you can play around with the PhET Studio till the 1st of September, but after that, it's not available to anyone outside America. So please do take out time to explore the PhET Studio. And if it's something that your school wants, can a school outside Nigeria get licensed?
Well, so technically, I mean, the thing is we cannot accept US credit card payments. If a school district wants like multiple accounts, they could contact us as long as they could do it as a wire transfer. It's just most places won't do a wire transfer. We can't do individual wire transfers, but like if an organization wants a license, we can set up a license agreement and then a wire transfer could happen. So that's what we're hoping will be available in the next month or so. And then hopefully in the next year or so, we're going to start adding as many countries as we can for people who want access.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep,
Let us see in the chat box. I want to see your claps, your emojis. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for taking our time this time. Thank you so much. I hope we enjoyed her session. Let's see your reaction and the chat box. Let's see your reaction, your claps, your emojis. Oh, great, great, great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Always doing a wonderful one. And always making sure you touch base on each STEM subject. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Rachel, please don't, there's time for question and answer. Don't worry, you will get that time for question and answer, okay? But right now, we still have a lot. We still have to introduce PhET properly to you and also take on AI, all right? So now I'm going to open the floor to Mrs. Rita. Sorry, you see, I have to, my vocal cords have to be prepared well for me to pronounce, for me to call on my co-facilitator, Mrs. Rita Oladiran, to take the step, the session on the benefits of PhET simulation for the STEM educator to use in their classroom. All right, the floor is up to you, Mrs. Rita. Take over.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to share my screen. So has let's see the layouts that we're gonna get for this share. Yeah, excuse me, please. Let me just do the layouts here. Good. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, I think you're seeing the wrong one. Where's my Chrome? Yes, good. Benefits. Purpose system private window. Yes, so let me just expand. Good. Try not to do a slideshow. Good. Yes, so yes, thank you very much, Blessing, so far. It's been good listening to Rebecca talk about PhET generally. So I'm going to be talking about the benefits of PhET interactive simulation. And this is something I like to talk about because I believe very much in the benefits and the importance that this simulation gives to us educators. Having heard Rebecca talk about take us on a tour of PhET as a whole, the website and all the different resources available to teachers. I just want to mention here now as I go on, can you kindly stop annotating, whoever this is? Please, it just makes this work all the more messy, please. Yes, so if you look at my screen,
Yeah.
sorry?
You can stop that annotation, or better still, grant me the right to do that.
All right.
Yes, because
okay.
it's just so much, so bad. Yes, so yes, so basically you can see all the different ways that the use of PhET simulations benefits the student. Now, I could go into talking about the benefits of. We can actually go into a long lecture about its cognitive importance, how it aids cognition, how the visual elements help students to retain things much more easily than when you talk, and then how it also allows students to use their hands, to be hands-on, to practice STEM. STEM, of course, we all know STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And STEM, like Blessing said initially when she introduced the section, she showed you two classrooms going on, a traditional classroom and a digital classroom, where the traditional classroom, all we could see on the chalkboard was the sage, the teacher, writing on the board, teaching students formula, writing out equations, and the students were just looking at the equations. Most times we all learned that way. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Most times if I ask you now what some of those equations mean, you wouldn't remember. Now she took us to another more visual classroom where the students were actually looking at body parts in a computer. Believe me, that thing that students saw with their eyes, those body parts that students were actually able to name, touch, manipulate, and get a feel or a reaction, those kind of hands-on learning kind of stay, they are retained. Students assimilate those such learning better, and it's retained better. So that is what PhET brings. That is the benefits that PhET has. In summary, the Sims PhET simulations specifically, they are designed to support students to construct a robust understanding of mathematics, science, which is STEM, science, technology, and engineering. You understand? And so it's an exciting opportunity for you, the teacher, who is a lover of science, to bring your love to the classroom for your students to also enjoy. So imagine what Rebecca was showing us, those bunnies, teaching your students hereditary and showing them how a dominant species causes multiplication to happen, how the environment causes the extinction of animals. They actually see it. More so in a system where these things are not available, they are not easily accessible. You would agree with me that in Nigeria, as in most other areas of the world, PhET simulations are very helpful, especially where there are limited hands-on resources. There are very limited laboratory equipment. I'm sure DTW tutorials would have rejoiced a lot. I was very happy when I stumbled on PhET because it allows students who do not have the opportunity to experience phenomena, scientific science in action, in their laboratories. PhET allows you to see it digitally, you understand? So that's why I have all this what you see on the screen talks about the interactive visualization. Interactive simulations are are images that when you alter a variable, you get a response. That is the kind of thing you get with PhET simulations. It is interactive. It provides dynamic manipulation of different variables that will also give you a reaction, give you outcomes when you manipulate them. They are not just run-on images, but when you make an action, there's always a reaction from it. I'm not giving you laws of physics right now. And then not only is that, there's one thing good, I'm coming into the stage. There's another advantage for PhET simulation. It's the simulations are scaffolded. It enables you to go to different levels of learning. So a student, like one of the things that you would have noticed in the first one, it is talking about agency. Talking about agency, that means it allows students to self-guide, self-learn, and pace their learning without feeling like they are guided. So the process that this happens is through the scaffolding. PhET Sim allows students to go gradually from a basic learning stage. They can go all the way to a higher advanced learning stage. So if you look at this screen, you can see a movement. You can see that when variables are altered, you see a reaction, you see the outcome, you see the result change. When 4x is added with the equation manipulation, you see the answers. So you see PhET Sims is responsive to variables manipulation, allowing students to do as much learning as possible. You understand? So now the screens, of course, allows you, the teacher, to gradually introduce subjects from an introductory level all the way to a more advanced level. So the simulations often make use of multiple representations that allow multiple accurate things to be dealt with at the same time. You understand? So look at this one. I'm sure you are seeing how 4x becomes 12. Look at the manipulations on the screen. You understand? So I'm happy that Rebecca has shown you some examples, but basically this is a screen playing out itself. I can't manipulate this. This is already pre-recorded, so I don't want to go into other manipulations. I'll get there later on, you know, if time permits us. So yeah, let's move on. Now, how does it support you as a teacher? PhET simulation supports different forms of learning. One of the very useful form of learning for STEM is a hands-on active learning. An example is the inquiry-based learning method that allows students to that draws out students' curiosity and allows them to be able to test their own hypothesis, you know, ask questions, make predictions, you know, just like Rebecca showed us, brought out two objects. One was light and the other heavy, and she drops the heavy object into a liquid. And then we are asked the question, if we drop in this light object, what do you think will happen? So you see, PhET allows you to explore. PhET allows you to test out your hypothesis. Some of us made the prediction that the light object will float higher than the heavier object. Others felt they will be at par. Some others felt the lighter object would actually sink. But when we tested it, we actually saw that the lighter object floated at par with the heavier object. Now I like those examples because it saves me the process of, you know, bringing out another simulation for you. That was a beautiful one. I thought that was beautiful. Now, as a teacher, how do you use that? First of all, it draws you in. It allows you to engage with your students. You know, you start using this inquiry-based learning example, for instance. I've used the 5 E's, which is engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. First, you start by engaging your students with a question, which is what she did. Everyone was interested immediately, you understand? Something that they would have to investigate, which is what we did. We tested it to actually see that, to see the outcome that we all got. So this is the steps that, you know, you would also take in your classroom. You get your students to engage, and then you get them to explore what they have, the questions they have asked, you know, the predictions they have made, the hypothesis they have written down, and then you'll get them to explain their observations and, you know, spark up discussions in the class. And then they will be able to, you know, discuss their findings, draw their conclusions, create a report. And then you would be able to evaluate and assess your students, either by giving them reflection prompts or by testing them again on problem solving, give them a kind of problem solving projects. For example, the density reaction that we just saw, a question came out of the small exploration we carried out. Rebecca asked, so why is it that the lighter object floated at par with the heavier object? So you see, from exploring one phenomena, we already have a question that causes us to want to dive in further and do further exploration. So you see, that is how STEM should be taught. It brings out the curiosity and guides students' learning. Now, if you go on, for you as a teacher, the SIM is designed to support all forms of teaching you might want to do. You might want to explore, you might want to your students to explore content. So the PhET simulation has concepts, models, and representations that helps you to explore conceptual issues, you understand, and then processes. You can also have, using the practical simulations, you can look at process, you know, systems and how processes, experiments go through processes. So you can choose that learning method. And then you can also want to impart soft skills or hard skills. PhET Sims can help you promote argumentative skills in your classroom, collaboration, experimentation skills, and other hard skills. People always say that when digital experimentation is not very balanced because students don't are not able to learn real life occurrences during experimentation. Well, PhET sims are not perfect. PhET sims simulate actual systems, and actual systems are not perfect. PhET sims is not 100%, the simulations are not 100% perfect. As much as possible, they simulate real life systems, and we all know that real life systems are not 100% perfect. So you see, there's that measure of default there to make it real. And then another thing is actually effective. Students do love working with these simulations. Yes, so let's go on to the next slide. This is one way of PhET Sims. This is just a game that helps students to learn mathematics. I'm not going to open it up. I know a prof is going to do some more demonstrations, so not to waste too much time. But basically, one of the ways that to support concept learning is using gamification. This is a good one. This is more a game on teaching children actually, elementary students multiplication. By the time they play with these games, they are able to, understand the rules, the fundamentals of multiplication. Now, Rebecca took us through on a tour. PhET's simulation is integrated in introductory physics. If you go to the website that she took us through, the PhET physics curriculum is straight from the fundamentals. It goes from measurements to mechanics of motion, all the way to one-dimensional motion, two-dimensional motion, Newton's laws, work, energy, and power, circular motion, just the way it is in the regular WASCE or SSC textbook, West African textbook, and which is also the same in most textbooks. Introductory physics follows a particular pattern, and that is how the PhET simulations in physics have also been arranged to make it easy for you, teacher, to follow your teaching, your syllabus and your curriculum work synchronously from one step to another. So you don't start you're not dispersed in all directions looking for materials. It's easily arranged to make learning easy for your students. Yeah, so this is all ways that PhET supports you. Now, we all know about AI. I brought in, this angle just to show you how PhET is interlinked with AI. There's going to be a full-on introduction into AI, and we are going to look at the ethics and how you as a teacher can take advantage of AI in STEM teaching. But I want to present to you that you've already, by using PhET and by learning how to use physics educational technology on this course, if you already haven't been introduced to PhET usage, you are already, abreast with AI. Now, what is artificial intelligence? If you look at this, artificial intelligence is technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning. Everything I have been talking about, I have been mentioning simulation, simulation, simulation. That is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence allows computers and machines to simulate human learning processes, comprehension, human learning actions, and agentic processes that produce comprehension, problem solving, that improves human skills. So you see, from all my definition and all my elaboration, you can see that already PhET is an agency of AI. Now, so I asked the question, would you say PhET is AI? So no, you wouldn't completely say that. Now, if you remember the diagram I showed you, yes, this diagram that I showed you, and I hope you remember how when you toggle or when you manipulate a variable, you get a result on the other side of the variable. That is what happens. Now look at a few points that that you have with AI. Basically, AI tools provide opportunities to improve STEM learning. Now, how do they do this? Now, I'm comparing it with all the other benefits that I have outlined earlier. I said PhET has interactive visualization. It's a benefit, the ability for people to manipulate variables on their own and get results from their manipulation. Now, AI promotes personalized learning. AI on its own identifies individual students' needs and adapts content to address learning gaps in STEM subjects. AI goes further because of its own human intelligence that has been that it tries to inculcate. Now, PhET is a tool that takes advantage that deploys AI. So PhET is almost like an AI agency. So already you as a teacher, you are using an AI agent to teach. You understand? Later on, Dr. Kemi, when she gets on the call, when she takes the session, will show you the different ways, yes, as a teacher, AI works, and even Professor Akinola would also mention it. And they are AI, they are adaptive tools. PhET also presents students with, PhET allows students to work at their own pace and to allow students to adapt to the different levels of difficulty in their assignments. So you see, there's already a lot of AI in PhET. And then there's also the ability for gamification to occur with AI. With AI, you have gamified apps, and then you also have data-driven insights. PhET allows the teacher to draw up data. It allows the teacher to scaffold learning for the students. It employs the agency of the teacher, and it employs the agency of the student. So you see, PhET is already AI is already embedded in PhET. So already, if you as a teacher are using PhET, you have some integration of AI in there, and that means you're already abreast of times. And I would encourage you as a teacher to learn more about PhET, and then by the time you're able to learn about PhET, and you would understand how to integrate it with more advanced AI tools or more classroom STEM appropriate AI tools to further enhance your teaching and help students to learn better. Now, this is one test that I try to do. There are so many tests that I will not go into right now. I don't know how long listen, how long do I have? Can we do this? Sorry. Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry, Mrs. Rita, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I think you can still go through, right?
Okay, so I can go through this particular one.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay, good. So, well, let me just see if Rebecca has touched on. Let me go on to, let me just go on to engagement. I'll do this later. So now, one of the ways that PhET benefits is, I just want to touch on the few researches that were conducted to show us how PhET has impacted students. I'm sure a lot of you that have been in our introductory lectures before would also have testimonies. You would have your own testimonies. I wonder if you have documented them. So this is a research conducted by Finkelstein with his students using this circuit experiments, and I'm happy that Rebecca has already done it. So students that were exposed to these circuit experiments were tested. They were exposed to circuit experiments, and they were tested against students that were taught circuit connection traditionally, and you can see from the results that students that learned using PhET about circuit connection actually scored better. You can see the students in blue on this graph. The scores of students, they are the control students that were tested using PhET after being exposed to PhET simulations, compared with those who were taught circuit developments just by traditional teaching. You can see the results. You can see that those in blue did better. Another thing is increased engagement. Like we talked about earlier, it allows you, once you expose students to the simulations, it draws them in, it fascinates them, it sparks of curiosity. I'm sure you were all curious as to what would actually be the outcome of that question Rebecca asked. You wanted to know if a lighter object would float in water when an already heavier one is inside. You know, I was curious and I gave my answer. So you see, already it pulls you in. So your the job of engaging your students becomes easier for you as a teacher. Now, another thing that you would notice when you work with PhET simulations is there's a change in the norms that happens in the classroom as opposed to when you teach from the traditional methods. Sims lessons allows students to explore new ideas. Sims lessons allow students to explore new ideas, while traditional learning just keeps you to procedures. You just keep observing procedures. You follow X, Y, Z. But Sims learning keeps giving you options to explore. It takes your learning much, much further. Even you as a teacher, it takes your teaching much, much further than you intended. It widens your students' horizon. And then it also helps your students to be innovative, to be inventive. You know, the minute we finished that testing, we wanted to know more. We wanted to know why that particular object, you know, floated at par with an heavier one. And then she started talking about the loss of buoyancy. So you see, you're moving from just testing density to buoyancy. Students are learning faster than even you are ready to communicate. So it makes your learning easier. And then students also begin to develop ideas. They begin to articulate their ideas based on what they can see. So you see how quickly it works. And the other traditional learning only helps students to memorize facts, and they spend time trying to recall facts as opposed to moving past recalling facts to generating their own ideas, discussing their own ideas, exploring further than what you're presenting to them. You understand. So this is why we as teachers, we encourage the use of PhET simulations, especially in this day of AI. PhET simulations, using them in the classroom, and I'm happy that you've seen that they are easily accessible on the website. And I know that we all have issues of technology in Nigeria and in Africa, and lights and all that, but there's an offline alternative, which Blessing said earlier, costs just about between 1,500 and 2,000. Once you download it on your computer, like I'm using right now, not on a mobile phone, you know, you're able to access it 24/7. You do not need internet to access it. So yeah, so that's all I'm going to be doing on the benefits of PhET simulations. And if you have questions, please put your questions on the chat. We'll take questions much later. I think I'm done, Blessing. I think I'll just leave it at that. The presentations and the demonstrations that Rebecca did are quite explicit. So yeah. So I'll stop sharing now. Over to you, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation.
Hello? Oh, no.
Yes, Blessing, we can hear
one
you.
moment. Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
No, I must give due accolade to Mrs. Rita for that wonderful presentation, and also introduce my well and able, awesome prof. So please, I can't miss that. So please, I want to see the thumbs up, the claps, the accolades, okay, for Mrs. Rita on a wonderful presentation, how she delivered, okay, and spoke about enlightening us, elaborate on the benefit of PhET simulation. So please let me see the thumbs up, the claps, the accolades. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. All right, and now we are leaving the floor on the stage to our able, awesome professor of computational physics, and he's going to take us through the pedagogies of PhET. How awesome. You know, when you hear pedagogy, the weight, you know, the weight of that pedagogy, and you're like, oh wow, how are we gonna go about it? But it's quite easy, and he's gonna break it down. I love my professor because he knows how to teach us STEM educators. So please let us welcome Professor Olayinka on stage now as he takes over. My prof, you can take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Blessing, for that introduction. I'm not taking it for granted. I want to say a big thank you, and thanks to everyone who have presented so far. I believe we are all having a very wonderful time learning together and then improving our skills. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'll be speaking briefly on what I titled Promoting Active Learning with PhET Pedagogies in 21st Century Learners. Now, you will all agree with me that the learners we are dealing with, they belong to the digital age. And if you have to engage them, definitely you should be able to adapt to their level to a large extent for you to be able to impact them. So let's delve in very quickly. Now, the first question I want to ask is, why do you choose to be a teacher? You know, oftentimes, these are questions that most of us didn't prepare to answer even before we find ourselves in the field of teaching. And so, for some, maybe money is a motivation for becoming a teacher. But unfortunately, in this part of the world, there is no money for teacher. Even at university level, there is no money. And so what should be the motivation for being a teacher? I've come up with this, and I believe it's quite informative. I've been in the teaching system for at least 2 decades. This year makes 2 decades that I've been in the classroom in the university system. And over the years, I've not made so much money. However, I can boldly say I've been able to impart people. I've been able to add value to people. And so that is one of the motivations that I believe should be the factor for everyone that have chosen this noble profession of being a teacher, impacting life. The second one is that we are nurturing growth. We are also fostering a love for learner, because without knowledge, the society will be in shambles. And so we are the custodian of knowledge, and because of the love we have for learner, we are willing to impart them, not necessarily because of the reward, but because we love what we're doing. Also, we're also empowering individuals. We're empowering individuals. It's unfortunate that we look at our society today and we see different kind of leaders, especially in the political spheres. And we are forced to ask ourselves sometimes, these ones pass through teachers. The question is, what values have we imparted into them while they were going through us? It's a big question that requires a lot of answers. And the next one is that we are creating positive change. The question is, in your own little corner, are you actually creating a positive change? Okay. And then lastly, we are sharing our expertise. Now, the objective of this brief discussion centers around, we look at the purpose and functionality of PhET simulation. Of course, we have seen a lot of that largely. And then I want to apply the PhET pedagogy to design engaging lessons. That is the target and goal. I believe at primary school and secondary school level, we talk about lesson planning or lesson design and things like that. So how can you inculcate PhET pedagogies into the design of your lesson? That is one of the key things we'll be looking at. And we'll also look at how we can use PhET simulation to actually promote critical thinking and problem solving. One of the key things that is also lacking in African setting is that we make our education to be about certificate only. We are not actually creating critical thinkers who can actually apply the knowledge of the education to solve problems. And so we're looking at it from the perspective of simulation, how we can actually achieve that. Then we are also going to assess the impact of PhET activities on learners' outcome and then adapt PhET activity to meet diverse learning models. Now, why do we teach? You can see on the left-hand side of my screen here, this is a conventional mode of teaching, and I believe this is still applicable in so many communities across Africa, whereby teachers struggle to write on the board, no technological aid, and you can also look at a different paradigm on the left-hand side of the screen here, whereby I have a simple pendulum. This is a PhET Sim on pendulum lab, okay? Whereby I can begin to take my ruler to measure the length stopwatch and begin to actually carry out a simple experiment and measure the period of oscillation. I can display velocity, and several other things can actually be done within this place, okay? I can also play with the friction and gravity. So for instance, if I want to vary the gravity of this pendulum in another planet, say, or in another satellite body, say moon, you can see the difference. All of these can actually be used to drive knowledge. These are technology-enhanced learning, which PhET interactive simulation have actually provided. I have up here, compared to what I have on this kind of, definitely, it will not be the same experience with the students who are exposed to what we have on the left side of the screen only. And so technology-enhanced learning, such as PhET or AI-driven learning, are quite very important to engaging the 21st century learners. Now, look at what I have on the screen here. In year 2001, Prensky published a work and he coined two key phrases. The first one is digital natives and digital immigrants. What did he do? He actually classified people based on the year of birth. In his initial classification, people born before 1980, he considered them as digital immigrants. And those born after 1980, he classified them as what? Digital natives. And if you look at all the pictures I have here, like this baby down here by the left, the baby has maybe as little as less than 1. It's already interacting. They're already interacting with mobile phone technology, digital life. So they're used to it. You can't take it away from them. It's part of them. See another set of students this way. It's part of them. You can't take it from them. Look at them, every one of them with digital devices. So these are digital natives. They belong to the digital age. And if you must engage them for any productive activity, including learning, it has to be done through digital engagement. It has to be done through technological engagement. And so for some of us that will belong to the digital immigrants, okay? We still struggle with technology, and then we belong to some of this class. Like this mama here now. See the struggle to actually look for where the keys on the keyboard. So I know some or few of us might belong to this. Now, another work by Adams in 2022 actually created a transitional group, and he called them those born between 1980 and 1995, okay? And then after 1995, he classified them as digital natives. I want to believe sincerely at both undergraduates and even primary and secondary school, we'll be talking about these digital natives. However, in the work of Adam in 2022, something came out very striking and very important. Then beyond just this classification we're talking about, it is also important for us to actually classify people based on their digital competency. And that digital competency is not necessarily based on age, but it's a function of exposure, where you're exposed to technology at a certain point in time in your life, and you embrace the opportunity like the one we're doing now. Keep using it, you'll be a master of it in no distant time. Then we talk about the socio-economic access, okay? Socio-economic access. If you don't have finance to acquire the right technology, you may not be able to, like in some schools. Some governments don't make provision for such. So that may also be a factor that will limit its usage. And that is why For those of us who have access to government officials or policymakers, there is need for us to take some of this discussion beyond what we are just doing here, because there is need for policy integration of all these AI tools and technology into our education for us to actually get the best profit and maximum profit from this technology. Okay, now then we talk about digital literacy, like the one we are doing now. Okay, digital literacy, it plays a key role. Now this table summarizes the whole thing based on different classification. The first column here talks about the generations. So we have the baby boomers based on the classification of generations of people born between 1946 and 1964. Then you have the generation X. You can actually look at where you belong here. And I will drive on my from this slide very quickly. Then you have people born between Y. You have between 1980 and 1995. Then you have the Gen Z, 1996 to 2012. And then you have the generation Alpha from 2013 to 2025. So from this generation, depending on the level of education where you are interacting, you can clearly where pupils you are interacting with, or if they belong to the Gen Z, and you can also identify where you belong. Immigrants, you have the transitional here, and you have the digital natives, which are likely those are the ones we are engaging. Like I mentioned earlier, these ones are born into a digital first world. High familiarity with smartphone, social media, and online platform is part of their life. You can't take it from them. They are fully immersed in AI, mobile cloud, and IoT from birth. Screen interaction begins in infancy with these ones. As some of them have been born in the hospital, they are struggling even to collect mobile phone from their parents. So that's to tell you the level at which these pupils you are interacting with are. And so, excuse me, if you must engage them productively, educationally, then you have to also embrace the technology that fits into their class. And that is why PhET comes to play. PhET stands for Physics Education Technology, as mentioned earlier, but definitely it's not limited to physics only now. It has, as you saw from the presentation of Rebecca, it's cut across so many basic sciences, STEM generally, okay? So we have all of that. And then as also mentioned by Blessing, of course, founded by Carl Wieman in 2002 after winning Nobel laureate in physics in 2001, okay? And so we have a number of simulations that we can actually play and interact with, okay? So let me just go on. So let me not bother you about this. It's a project that has won so many awards, of course, and it kept on growing. It has no limitation. It's free, at least to a large extent. We have the both online and offline version that you can actually access freely. The only one you pay for is if you need to install the mobile app version via the Google Play Store or via the Apple Store. But if you want to download for your Windows laptop, it's free, absolutely. So you have a lot of free features that you can actually access in this place. The design principle behind this is actually to engage students through inquiry, that is creating the inquisitiveness within your learner, okay? So this is what the design principle looks like from this top here. It encourages scientific inquiry, and then it provides interactivity, make the invisible to be feasible. Like I said, ordinarily, I can't go to the moon to go and conduct a simple pendulum experiment. But with my pendulum lab in PhET, I can actually do that experiment and see what the acceleration due to gravity will be in another planet X, or in another planet Y, or even in the moon, where I cannot go physically. So it makes what is obviously invisible to actually be feasible. It uses real-world connections, multiple representation of objects, motion, graphs, and so on and so forth. It shows visual mental mode, and then it gives an implicit guidance. And lastly, it gives flexibility to the usage of simulation. Now, my own personal experience, very quickly. In 2016, I won the Best Lecturer Award in my former university, and what led to that? I was actually faced with the issue of teaching physics practical, demonstrating for students with limited or inadequate laboratory apparatus. And so, good enough, I went through the internet and came across PhET interactive simulation as far back as 2011, and I began to use it for my students. And based on student assessment in 2016, I was given the Best Lecturer Award in my former university. So that was one of my own personal experience, and is quite interesting for me. Now, what is active learning? Active learning. When we talk about active learning, is different from the passive learning. Active learning simply talks about the learners are active participants in their learning process. They play a critical role in their learning process. It's an instructional approach that involves the student in the learning process through various activities. It's not like the normal passive way of learning, or in a situation whereby you have a sage on the stage who dishes out the information without minding what is the perspective from the learner side. Okay, active learning moves away from the traditional passive learning, and then it engages the learner constructively, and then it makes them to be part of that. It uses various issues like the discussion, problem solving, case studies, hands-on experiences, and other methods to actually engage the learner. And then this is actually it's still evolving. That's talking about active learning in digital pedagogies. It's evolving, but it has proven to actually be very effective and enhances student performance. I'm talking of based on publication, based on journal articles. The images you are seeing here is my undergraduate year one student being engaged with PhET interactive simulation. Of what they actively participate. As you can see, some of them interacting with their mobile phone while some are interacting with their laptop to follow up with the activity in the classroom where I'm engaging them using PhET interactive simulation. Okay, now active learning approach demands a higher degree of responsibility on the learner. Okay, however, instructor guidance is still very crucial in active learning classroom. Okay, the learner has a great deal of responsibility, but it doesn't rule out the role of the instructor, the role of the teacher. You also have a major role to play in ensuring that the learning objectives are actually achieved. Okay, now let's look at the spectrum of the active learning. On the left-hand side of the normal spectrum of learning, you have more of teacher control, and on the right, you have more of student control. Okay, now within these two domains, where you have the teacher control, the student control, there has to be a balance, and that is where PhET pedagogy comes in. What is pedagogy? What do we mean by PhET pedagogy? Pedagogy simply means the method adopted in teaching, or the approach you adopted in teaching or passing knowledge across to learner. Okay, and so PhET approach uses what is known as interactive lecture demonstration, ILD, whole class inquiry, concept question with peer instruction. These are the three I will be talking about as part of the pedagogy that PhET interactive simulation adopted in a whole class strategy. Okay, whole class means you have a class to engage. Okay, you have a class to engage, and engaging those class, we will look at each of these pedagogies and how it can be used and what we need to know about its usage. Okay, now quickly, what are the characteristics of active learning? Because this time around we are looking at active learning in a whole class setting using these three pedagogies I've just mentioned. Okay, interactive lecture demonstration, whole class inquiry, and concept question. Okay, now the characteristic number one: understand and address students' prior knowledge. So active learning is trying to understand and address students' prior knowledge. Okay, we are trying to build like a pyramid of knowledge. Okay, for instance, the students, they are coming from a background of residual knowledge at every point in time. Even a child that is just enrolling in school for the first time, maybe KG1 or pre-KG or pre-nursery or pre whatever you call it, that child is coming with residual knowledge from home. Okay, from home. And so active learning try to understand and address that student prior knowledge. Okay, it didn't just start to dish out, it tried to interact. and understand the prior knowledge. Okay. Number 2, it connects the content of a lesson to daily experiences of students and apply it in different contexts. Okay. It connects the content of a lesson to daily experiences, linking it to the practicality, trying to make the unreal to be as real as possible. Okay. And then it also supports collaboration and create a safe environment for your students. Now, by creating a safe environment for your student, what do we mean? It tries to cater for every student's peculiarity. All your students will not learn at the same rate. You have fast learner, you have slow learner, you have average learner. The beauty of active learning is that it takes care of the peculiar need of every of your learner uniquely, okay? And it also provides an appropriate scaffolding, okay? Active learning has been confused with giving little or no instruction, which can lead to frustration and confusion, okay? Some people will say active learning, oh, the teacher is doing nothing or absolutely nothing, and so it leads to frustration. No, that is not true. That is not true. It is actually based on the concept of zone of proximal development, okay, which was introduced by Lev Vygotsky. What does that one simply talks about? The zone of proximal development is talking about what do you know before you come for this lesson, okay? And they build the concept of new knowledge on what you know before you come for the lesson, okay? And so trying to scaffold it based on where you are coming from, okay? Now, the ZPD, zone of proximal development, is talking about you identify the zone, assess the learner's current ability, set learner's goal achievable with assistance, gradual release of responsibility, okay? Talking about the learners have a responsibility in their knowledge, in their education, okay? Start with substantial support and gradually reduce it. Transfer from teacher-led to student-led activity. Teacher will lead, then student will go thereafter to lead, okay? Interactive and dynamic process, okay? Continuously evaluate and adjust support, okay? There is continuous evaluation and support as the learner progresses. Engage in dialogue, ask questions, and provide feedback. Then contextual, authenticate learning task. Use relevant reward problems and promote critical thinking and problem solving. This is what ZPD try to do, building from what is known by identifying it, and then gradually releasing responsibility, and then begin to interact, and then begin to scaffold, and then until you get to the point where the learner can actually carry out critical thinking and solve problems, okay? Make assessments as part of learning. It's very, very important. Assessment should be part of learning. I know in some part of Africa, we see assessments as a punitive measure for students. It is not so. It's actually part of the learning process, okay? Examination is not a punishment for students. It's part of the learning process to assess their level of understanding, okay? Then establish certain practices and expectation as a response to specific behavior. So let's look at the 3 pedagogies that we have in mind. Like I said, this is whole class strategy we're looking at, whole class strategy, okay? So in the whole class strategies, we want to look at 3 basic pedagogy: the whole class inquiry, interactive lecture demonstration, and then a concept question, okay? So this is Capacitor Lab. I love this a lot, but let me just save time so that we will have enough time. Now, in the whole class inquiry, you leverage on exploratory nature of the simulation in the context of whole class discussion. So the exploration, like Rebecca did for us.
Hello, my prof.
Yes, I'm with you.
Can I humbly ask that in 5 minutes, is it possible for you to conclude or summarize?
Random. Okay, no problem.
Yes.
No problem. I'll just work towards that. Thank you. Okay, so you have the whole class inquiry, okay, like Rebecca did for us, okay? That was exactly what she was doing while she was demonstrating and asking questions, okay? And for you to be able to design whole class inquiry activity, you choose a topic that you want to teach and the related PhET simulation, okay? Then next is to brainstorm the learning goals you could achieve with the simulation, and then that you have set, Then come up with a series of questions that you could ask your student, different type of questions, and then the other steps to follow to be able to achieve the whole class inquiry activity. Then for interactive lecture demonstration, this is the step. Let me just quickly go to the step. You also choose a topic, okay? Then after the topic, you establish the learning goal as usual. Of course, these two are constant. Then the next one is that you plan at least 3 demonstrations and design their respective prediction questions. And lastly, you order your question logically to also follow. You have some link here that you can actually see samples of prediction activity sheets, okay? Then this concept question. This is also another active learning strategy. And this one leverage on basic dynamism and multi-representational nature of the simulation. This one actually focus on specific questions and provide potential answers to support discussion among the students, okay? Teachers can use this strategy to actually focus students' critical thinking, okay? And the concept questions are challenging multiple choice questions like objective question. And usually you have option A, B to D. You can use various tools like digital art, like Google Form, polls, and so on and so forth to actually engage the students in this respect, okay? And then we always encourage using this, screenshotting the image of the simulation you are using that will drive the concept question you want to actually relate to the students, okay? Now, take a look at this. For instance, I'm using a resistance in a wire for this. This is what the simulation interface looks like. And a typical concept question will be like, what happens to the resistance of the wire when the length of the wire is increased, okay? So that is a typical question. So if I increase the length, what happens to the resistance, okay? So I believe we can make a guess, but we don't have the time to actually do that, okay? This is another simulation that talks about energy forms and changes, okay? Now, for instance, I have this setup. In this setup, for instance, let me quickly play with this a little. Let me switch off this, and this water should be boiling in the next few moments. The question is, what type of energy conversion is represented in this figure? Maybe you can type the answer in the chat. We have a thermal to mechanical to electrical to thermal, light to mechanical to electrical to thermal, electrical to chemical to thermal to electrical. So what type of energy conversion takes place in this particular simulation that is seen on the screen, okay? Can I have a view of maybe 1 or 2? I know time is fast gone. Okay, just type A, B, or C if you are responding. Is anybody responding? Okay, I have A. Okay, I have A, thermal to mechanical A. Somebody's putting S. Okay, so I have most people saying, of course, A is correct. And if you can display the energy, you can see the energy types as it changes. The energy labels are here. Okay, this is the second one. So in this case, what do you think is happening here? Okay, so what type of energy conversion is taking place here? So can we also type response? Let me just quickly look at it. Yes, the next one, is anybody typing? I have a new one now. Someone is saying CA, CD. Okay, so we have variant answers this time around. So I'm going to show you. Now, the reason why this is this. Okay, this man is complaining, feed me. The question, if I feed this guy, what type of energy am I feeding him with? I'm feeding him, obviously, with chemical energy. So the starting energy that is coming from this young man is chemical energy. And from chemical, we have it to mechanical, all the way to electrical, and then all the way to thermal. So we have chemical, mechanical, electrical, and thermal energy, obviously. So A is the correct answer for this one as well. We have another one here. Okay, this is coming from, maybe you can play with this over time, because I know I want to stop at exactly 1 minute time. Okay, now I've implemented a case study of resistance in the wire, and a number of students have done it over the years. So The link is available somewhere here. It's something you can also try out to see what it is to actually use an online tool to actually implement that. I also have a list of technological tools that can enhance educators' work. There are a number of them here. And this is one of my recent engagements as a PhET fellow, where we had about teachers from about 5 states gathered in Abuja. The program was co-sponsored by Lustera, MacArthur Foundation, and Jim Bore, as well as Center for Computational Science and PhET, where I was physically present with the teachers in Abuja. So it was really an engaging one. And so many of these teachers are really master. And these are part of their impression or reflection as to what PhET simulation is. Some of them believe it's awesome, it's interesting, it's educative, it's fantastic. And I believe as you also try to engage with this workshop, you will find it also rewarding and engaging. So I want to say a big thank you for listening, and God bless you.
Oh, thank you so much, my prof. Thank you so much. I know the time is not enough, but I know in your next presentation next week, you will still elaborate on some things. So please, I hope we all, I haven't even asked them to send their accolades, and they're already sending it. So let me see more accolades in the group. Send that accolades more. Yes, thank you so much, Prof, for introducing new concept. Okay, I learned something new, the active learning method. Okay, and it has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so thank you so much. Yes, we apologize. We spent 1 minute is it included to your time? Okay, we apologize for that. We just have something, we have so much, we don't want to extend beyond 7, all right, because we know you have other engagements. All right, so let me quickly share Prof. Okay, you stop sharing. Okay, let me share. All right, let me share and quickly notify you on something. So the Dr. Rebecca has sent you invitations to the first course on Coursera, like I mentioned from the beginning. The first course on Coursera, you are going to see something, Nigerian PhET Virtual. Join Nigerian PhET Virtual Workshop in Introduction to PhET Simulation. If anyone has received that mail, can I see can I see your thumbs up? Say yes, I have in the chat box quickly. If you have received the mail from Coursera, all right, Introduction to PhET Simulations for, a lot of people saying yes, I have. Yes, I have. Good, good. All right. So I'm going to, before you click the link, I'm going to send you a document. Please, I want everyone to read that document, the steps that you use to access Coursera so you don't miss your way. Okay, so please read that document and then assess the course, then go through the course step by step. Most of these things that we have spoken are in the course. So we are here to engage you live physically, while you too, when you're in the course alone, it will bring back to your memory, this is what Professor Olainka said, this is what Mrs. Rita said, this is what I said. Okay, so please, I want everyone here, all STEM educators, I know you can do it. You're always gallant. You are awesome. Within 2-3 days, you should be done with introduction. Oh, yes, allow. You should be done with introduction to PhET simulation and submit. And when you are done, you would receive your certification immediately you are done with introduction to PhET. Then we can now send you the next course will be sent after our next session. Okay, and if anyone has completed, we will send them individually. Okay, but most especially, anyway, we're going to take decision, but I know that when you finish introduction, you get your certificate, you would be ushered to the next course. Okay, and you just follow the steps. You receive the mail to the next course, which is whole class with PhET for STEM education. All right, you say, when was it? You've not received. Okay, maybe because you've not received because the list that was sent to the office, Colorado Bowl, that was the list I had by 3 p.m. Okay, yes, it was 3 p.m. I sent the list to the university. So please, I will send, because I know, let me even check there. I think about addition of like 100 or so, or 50 people have also registered again. So I will send your mails. Don't worry. I will send your emails and you will receive it tonight. All right, don't worry, you will receive it tonight. But those that have received, kindly, I would send you the link to a document you are to read. Please read through the instructions before you start the course. I would be opening the group every day from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. to take your questions. Please, let's not spam the group. Let us keep, housekeeping rules. Okay, do not spam, do not send any promotional messages because you would be removed from the group. Okay, so please let's try to work accordingly in the group. All right, and the recording session of this the video recording of this session will be sent to you. Okay, I'm gonna download it and send to you overnight, or first thing in the morning you would receive it. All right, so in 5 minutes, just another 5 minutes, I'm gonna take questions. Please, how can I register my mail? The registration I've been sending in, wait, let me send it again. Let me send the registration link on, let me send you the registration link. 1 minute. I've been sending it in the chat box, but I would send it again. Okay, please make sure you register. Let's all make sure we register, please, because that's when you'll be sent the link. All right, so this is the link. I'm also going to drop it in the group. It's already in the group. I've dropped it in the group also for you to register. Okay, so what else? Okay, so that's all for now. Let me stop sharing. Okay, my prof, you can take the photo now. I think this is a better time. Okay, in just a minute, Sam, I don't know, any other PhET fellow here? Okay, Sam, you can unmute yourself and just say hi and where you're joining from. You're a PhET fellow from.
Hello, everyone. This is Sam from Botswana. Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. This is Sam from Botswana. He's a PhET fellow in Botswana. So please mute yourself. Okay. And any other PhET fellow here?
Hello.
Yes. Speak on, please. Who is that?
Hello.
Okay. All right. Okay, I see. Please, how can I become a PhET fellow in Ghana? How can I become a PhET fellow? Okay, the fellowship has been suspended for now in Africa, but very soon it will be activated by God's grace. When there's enough funding, it will be activated again in Africa. Okay, and I will definitely send you a message on all our groups when the PhET fellowship starts. Okay, so quickly, Mohammed, you raised your hand. We're just going to take 2 questions.
Yes.
Yes. Ask your question. Ask your question, Mohammed.
No, it's not a question. I just want to recommend and show my appreciation toward the workshop. We are very grateful and thank you so much for the hard work. Thank you so much.
Oh, we appreciate Mohammed. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you. We appreciate you. Okay. Any other person with a question quickly? The final one. Okay, Loretta,
Sorry,
do you want to speak?
Can we have the link to the recorded video, ma, so that we can go over it again?
Yes. I've mentioned that.
Hello,
I've mentioned that the recorded link will be sent maybe tomorrow morning or overnight, because I have to download it from the cloud and make it live for everyone. Okay?
Thank you, ma. God bless you, ma.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you, ma.
No problem, Loretta. Thank you. Okay, I see that Tabot is here from Cameroon. She's a PhET fellow from Cameroon. Tabot, do you want to unmute and just say hello?
Hello. Hello, you guys did a marvelous job this evening. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tabot. This is Tabot from Cameroon. She's a PhET fellow in Cameroon. Thank you so much, Tabot, for taking our time to stay with us on this workshop. We really do appreciate. Okay, any attendance record?
Madam, bless you. You are my sister. God bless you. I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Lekon, yes, I can hear you. Is this Lekon? You raised your hands. You can speak. Lekon Idris. Okay, you're not speaking. What up, Temitope? You raised your hand. Can you speak? Can unmute yourself and speak, Temitope.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you have a question?
I wanted to show you something before. I said I want to show you something.
So, is it pertaining to the course?
This is what we were given as gifts for the circular training. Can you see?
Please, is it related to PhET? If it's not related to PhET, please.
So right now, I have to be in a meeting. Oh, they are teaching us certain things. So I'm into their website now.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much for your inputs. Thank you so much. All right, so
on a call with someone else. She wasn't talking.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I'm just going to mute everybody back. All right. I've muted everybody back. Rita, can you unmute yourself? I think you're a co-host, so you can unmute yourself.
Yes, I can unmute myself. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Final words. Rita, can you say the final words for today?
Well, I just
Rita, yeah.
Yes, I just want to appreciate everyone for showing up. It just shows the interest we all have to improve ourselves and just to become familiar with where the world is going, and also to take our students along. It's quite commendable. Thank you so much, all over 300 of you that stayed put all through this lecture. We appreciate your coming. I'll encourage you all to come back again next week, especially after you have gone through your course pack, after you have started the Coursera and looked at the videos and seen all the questions and the activities. So come back again next week so that we can take you through the activity processes, the science, how to design activity sheets and all the science work, everything involved, so that you can finish your work properly and get certified. You never can tell when you would use this, when it would matter, when you would be required to provide a certificate to show that you actually did this. So please finish it. Always go through. It may seem a bit tough because like Prof said, most of us are not digital natives. We are digital immigrants, but like we all know that is a myth. There's nothing anybody cannot learn. There's no knowledge that comes from heaven. We all come to earth and learn. So as we are all here learning to be digital people, let's go through this course. Thank you so much for your hard work and staying through to the end. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you so much for that closing remarks. Thank you, thank you. And please, all questions will be on the group. We're going to open the group by 12 p.m. tomorrow, and I will be sending the link for you to read through the documentations before you start your course on Coursera. Someone asked for assignments. Yes, all the assignments are on Coursera. You'll be submitting assignments on Coursera, the LMS. All right, so thank you so much. And we apologize, sincerely and humbly apologize for keeping you 13 minutes longer. Thank you so much, everyone. Prof, do you want to take the picture, the group picture? Yeah, I think it's a nice time.
Yes.
If you can put on your video, let's see you. Let's see everyone. Let's see everyone. Put on your video. Let's put on your video. Oh, lovely, wonderful faces. To be a STEM educator is, in fact, you are blessed because the work, you have to have a lot of muscles to teach and impact in science, physics, and chemistry. So thank you. Let's see your lovely faces. Are you ready? Are you taking the picture now?
Yes, I'm taking them.
All smiling, yeah? Okay, good, good, good. All right, so before we start exiting the group, okay, you have an exit ticket to do. So in the chat box, I want you to give just one word of your experience in today's session. What did you learn? What's your takeout about PhET on today's session? That is your exit ticket. Please drop in the chat box. Can you drop in the chat box just one word? Your feeling, your expression about PhET simulation. Oh, I see. Wonderful. Impactful, awesome, refreshing, eye-opening. Oh, wonderful. Keep it coming. Fun, curious, inspiring, informative, interesting. Oh, wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm so glad that you are, getting the vibes that you have a tool now that can help you to communicate to your students in a better way, to make them love STEM education. So thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week, Wednesday by 5 p.m. But we are still on the group with you every day, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., taking your inquiries, your questions. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful night rest. See you in the group. Thank you. Bye.
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 I see Jonah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.